please go look at the apartment. And like, I was not very excited to go do that. I was exhausted. Oh, okay. So, no, but in the end, I go over there, I came to get the key, and it was a whole thing. And as soon as I get there, she was like, I found it. And I was like, okay, you know what? I guess that's like the biggest keep it up I could do. I was just like,
the easiest one, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like the biggest, easiest.
Yesterday. Yeah. Intense place. Yes. We have a daughter living there. Okay, so we are on page 57. Actually, the bottom of 56, right? Mm-hmm. So the very, very important thing that we learned yesterday was that to understand that every mitzvah in the Torah pertains to every one of us, even if you're even the only differences between a Kohen and a Levi and a Yisrael and a man and a woman is not in terms of machshava and dibur, right? The soul has three garments: thought, speech, and action. It's an action that we have differences between different people as to who's responsible to do certain mitzvot. But in terms of learning the mitzvah and speaking the words of the Torah and studying, what the mitzvah is, every mitzvah applies to every one of us. And hence, the mitzvah of, you don't have to take it off, it'll probably like that. Somebody's at the door, please. Yeah. And hence, every mitzvah applies to every one of us. Right? So we have to understand how does the mitzvah of Aaron or Kohen saying the divine name on Yom Kippur, you understand? You weren't here yesterday, right? So we have machshava, dibur, and maaseh. These are the three garments of the soul. Okay? And you don't see a neshama, right? You only see the evidence of a neshama. Shalom Aleichem. So share maybe Marissa can share with or maybe go under that, and you can put it in. You don't see an actual neshama. You only see the presence of the neshama through its garments, right? It's a good thing for you to know. You're in the garment business. Okay. So it's through the garments of the soul that you see the presence of the Neshama. The three garments of the soul are thought, speech, and action. Thought is the garment by which your Neshama communicates with yourself. Speech is the garment by which your Neshama communicates with another soul. And action is by the garment by which your Neshama interacts with the physical world, right? So in Machshava, and we're meant to serve God b'machshava, b'dibur, b'maaseh. In other words, to serve God completely means that you think about the Torah and about the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you speak holy things and you do holy things, right? Now, in Machshava and Dibur, every mitzvah of the Torah pertains to every single individual, every single Jew. In action, there's a difference between, are you a Kohen? Then you do this mitzvah. Are you not a Kohen? You don't do it. You're a Levi, this is what you do. You're not a Levi, you don't do this, right? Man, woman, there are differences. Katan, Gadol, etc., right? So, the door again. The door. Zwischen Magdim in the mitzvahs. Amen. Right? So, welcome here. So you can share a book over here. And so I'll tell you, Marissa, share with you, and you share with her. And hi, what's your name? Shelly. Okay. So again, so again, in speech and in thought and in speech, every mitzvah pertains to everyone. Okay. In action, there are differences between Kohen, Levi, Yisrael, Ish, Isha, Katan, Gadol, and so on. Okay. So, Aaron a Kohen says the divine name, the Shem HaMeforash on Yom Kippur. So in action, it's not a mitzvah for me because I'm not a Kohen. I'm never going to get to do that. But in thought and in speech, I have to understand, what does that mean? How does this mitzvah apply to me? Besides learning that there's such a mitzvah, but what further implications are there? So Reb Shlomo explained that what does it mean to say Hashem's name? How do you know what makes it meaningful, or how do you understand the meaning of it? So he says, take a look at what did those holy lips that spoke the divine name on Yom Kippur, what were they doing the rest of the year? And the rest of the year, they were making peace between people. Okay. Right? Aaron HaKohen is right. Hillel says, be a student of Aaron, Ohev Shalom v'Rodev Shalom, loving peace and pursuing peace, Ohev Atabriyot, loving people, U'mekarvan LaTorah, and bringing them close to the Torah, right? You can put a stool in here. Hey, you can come over here. You'll have to share my book with me. Okay. If you want a chair with the back, you can get one too. So that's a big lesson for us to understand that. So you daven every day, you pray every day. How do you know if your prayer was meaningful? How do you know if it was meaningful or not? It's not dependent on whether you're going to win the lottery ticket after davening. What it's dependent on is to see, did you change in your attitude, in your relationship with the people as a result of having davened? Okay, that's the big test. That's the big benchmark. Okay, So now we're at the bottom of 56, fifth last line. Lumat zot, yeshet korach. Now, in distinction to Aaron, that's where we stopped yesterday, correct? Michal, that's where we stopped?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Lumat zot, yeshet korach. So we have Korach. You've all heard about Korach. He makes a big rebellion against 56. Makes a big rebellion against Moshe and Aaron, right? And Korach is not a simple guy. He's a serious guy, and he's a big Talmid Chacham, and he's a lady who carries the Arona Kodesh on his shoulders. Right? That's his job. As a Levi, his job is that he gets to carry the Arona Kodesh. You got to be a pretty holy man to carry the Arona Kodesh, right? So what happens? So Reb Shlomo is being a little bit poetic over here. Okay, so he's describing Korach as such a holy man that he's walking in the street. He's got two assistants with him, so that he could walk around with his eyes closed, right? He looks like a Rebbe. You know what Admur stands for? Adoneinu Moreinu V'Rabbeinu. So he looks like a Rebbe. He speaks only with other Rebbes, right? And okay, we're back on. Good. Okay, so Kadosh means separate, right? Like a holy man. Like, no, seriously, just to illustrate. Okay, could everybody please visualize? You can close your eyes. You can keep your eyes open. I don't care if you put on your sunglasses, but please visualize a holy person in your mind. Just visualize a holy person. Okay, of your choice, right? Okay, everybody got a picture of somebody? Terrific. Now answer these two questions. A couple of questions. Number one, is the person that you visualize male or female? Pick up your hands if it was a male. If it was a woman, pick up your hands. That's pretty interesting. Equal distribution, pretty much. Very nice. Is this person a lot older than you? Pick up your hands if yes. Okay. Is this person dressed anywhere near like you? I mean, style. Pick up your hands if yes, too. Okay. What that means is that usually, and this is very typical, what you just saw now. Actually, this was pretty atypical because a fair number of you visualized a woman. Most people, whenever I ask this question in a group, most people think of some old man dressed in garments that are very different from the way they're dressed. Which is, I have nothing against that, but what that basically means is that when people think about a holy person, they're thinking about somebody that's so different from themselves. In other words, they think that to be a holy person is so remote from my reality, and therefore not even going to try, type of thing. It's just so different. It's not me. But the mitzvah.
Visualize someone dressed like us and our age. Would that mean that we consider ourselves holy?
No, not necessarily. But you wouldn't see it. What it would mean is that you don't see it as being so remote from your way of life, right? When you visualize Aaron HaKohen, you wouldn't really visualize him so much as walking around like looking like anybody else, right? So the thing is that yes, it's a very, very big avodah to be a holy person. It's not a simple thing, and it is a rather remote thing. But when our picture of a holy person is so different from ourselves, somebody has to get the door again, please. Somebody's so different from ourselves. It means that to begin with, I'm already putting them beyond me. Okay. If you go next door and ask Ben to give you his book, or Abraham, because we need another book, you can come in. What's your name?
Emily.
Ellie, come on in. Have a seat. Show me. Okay, and that's an important thing. It's like, like I don't imagine I'll ever be a player in the NHL, and so I'm not even going to work towards it, type of thing. If the holy person in your mind is so way beyond, so then it's just too far for me to even try to reach there, right? Elama, third line on page 57. There will be a book here soon. Elama be'emet zohi haktusha ha'amitit. But this is really the true holiness. Harei ma hakadosh baruch hu oseh. What is God actually doing all the time? Everybody knows.
He's making sure.
Okay, so what's God doing? Yeshev b'shamayim v'sholech pitkaot arsa. Do you think? Can you get the door for him? Do you think God is sitting in heaven and sending notes down, like you throw notes around in class? Hakadosh baruch hu melo chol haaretz kvodo. Right? God is. Okay, so you listen. Okay, so Hakadosh baruch hu melo chol haaretz kvodo. It says concerning God that all the world is filled with His glory, right? Hashem nimtza b'chol makom. God is present everywhere, right? There's you've all probably heard of the Sefer Kuzari. You've heard of it, right? You've heard of that Sefer? Mm-hmm. It's everybody, yeah, you heard about it, yeah. So the king of the Khazars, he's got this rabbi and the priest and an imam, and he's asking them questions about the different religions. So he asks the rabbi, how could it be that 40 days after we got the Torah, we already made a golden calf? It's a good question, right? It's actually an interesting thing. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be reading Parshat Yitro, So one of the verses before the giving of the Torah, Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, "Go tell the people that you shall be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." And it's from that verse that we have the formula of Hayat and Kodeshet Li, So the Medrash says, why does it say Li? It should just say, "Ba'atem tihiyu, you shall be mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh." What's pshat Li? So pshat is you'll be unto me, fine. But the Medrash says that Li, the numerical value of Li, is 40. Lamed is 30 and Yud is 10. And the Medrash says that Hashem is already hinting to Moshe Rabbeinu that our entire commitment of saying that we said we want the Torah is going to last only 40 days. And 40 days later, we actually made a golden calf, right? Anybody here would marry somebody that says, "I'm willing to marry you for 40 days"? Not so fast, huh? Right? But Hashem gave us the Torah anyway.
Thinking about it.
Okay, now we know what you're looking for, right? A long-term 40-day relationship. It is.
40 whole days.
Yeah. So now imagine. So why did Hashem give us the Torah? Hashem knew that it's not going to last for more than 40 days, right? So that's a whole teaching in itself, that basically that you have to understand that we live in cycles, more accurately on spirals, and every time that a revolution is completed, you're either going to go higher and to a higher level, or it's going to become idolatrous, God forbid. Okay? But that's, Mr. Shem, when we get to parshat Yitro, we'll talk about that more later, okay? But nevertheless, the king asks the rabbi, how could it be that 40 days later we already made a golden calf? And the rabbi says to him, and what if the Torah would have said that instead of making a golden calf, that we built a synagogue, or we built a shul? Would you have the same question? Would you be bothered with the same question? So the king says, no, of course not. We'll be fine. So the rabbi says to him, it will be the same problem. If we would have made a shul, that would have been the same thing as a golden calf. How so? Why? So basically, if, in idolatry, there are different concepts that are idolatrous. One of them is the idea of geography. You'll see when we get to parshat B'Shalach, you'll see that at one point Hashem says to us, turn back, and we can't mul Baal Tzefon, opposite the Baal of the north. And Rashi right away asks the question, Hashem already destroyed all the idols of all the Egyptian gods, all the Egyptian idols. How come Baal Tzefon hadn't been destroyed yet? So and he explains that Hashem hadn't destroyed Baal Tzefon yet in order to lure Paro to chase after us. Because Paro was going to think that, Hashem, the God of the Jews, is stronger than all the gods in Egypt proper, but the one of the north, he apparently is stronger than God. Now, all I'm trying to illustrate right now is that those who worshipped idols had this geographic idea associated with their gods. This idol has power over here, but doesn't have power over there. This one has power over that one, has power over there, but doesn't have power over here, So what Reb Shlomo is saying over here is, you have to understand that Hashem is present everywhere equally. Tzemach Tzedek explains that to believe that Hashem created the world, that's not such a big deal. It's not such a big leap of faith to believe that there's a creator. It's no more of a leap of faith than an atheist who says he doesn't believe that there's a creator. Both of them are statements of belief. Okay? But what is it? What is believing in Hashem really involved? What believing in Hashem really involves is that you believe that Hashem is the same after creation as he was before creation. That Hashem is here in this space which is being taken up by me and by you and by the entire universe. Hashem is as present here as he was before the world was created. Okay? That is complete unity. That's unity in space. And to believe in complete unity in time is that that God was, is, and always will be all at the same moment, which is something that we cannot comprehend because we live in worlds, and worlds are defined by space and time. Okay? So real Kedusha, what Reb Shlomo was saying is that real Kedusha doesn't mean to isolate yourself away from people or to isolate yourself. You can be Kadosh wherever you are. Not only can you need to be. We need to be holy wherever we are. It's not a matter of, it's true. Like once somebody asked, I think it was Reb Nachman, why do you run away to the fields to daven in the field? Isn't God the same everywhere? So he said, yes, God is the same everywhere, but I'm not the same everywhere. Right? So we need to have, there are places that we learn better, there are places that we daven better, etc., and we should go to those places. Okay? But to say that, I can find God over here, but I can't find him over here, that's sacrilegious. Okay?
Can I add something?
Yeah.
It's also the idea of we're saying how building a synagogue would be the same thing as building a golden calf because it is encapsulating the spiritual into a physical object.
That's exact. Thank you so much.
And then addressing that for comfort, addressing that for guidance.
Right.
And
thank you for saying that because I wanted to bring that out. So if you build a shul, I was going to mention that, and we'll continue in a minute. So if you build a shul and you think that in shul I could behave one way, and outside the shul I could behave in a different way, then the shul becomes idolatrous. That's what the rabbi was saying to the king. You understand? If you think God is residing in the building and not residing outside the building, that's idolatrous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the idea of turning to something physical that you created as for comfort and for guidance instead of looking beyond that. And No, I really appreciate that you brought that up because that's exactly what I wanted to get to. But sometimes that could be looked at as a shrine. Also,
it's so you need to have a shul. You understand? So to complete his answer to the king, he said that back in those days, a golden calf was a familiar image that people used for praying to God. You understand? A medium. It's idolatrous, but a shul could chas v'sholem be idolatrous also. There's a story that Reb Shlomo once told us that when the Ramo, the Moshe Isserlis became the Rav, he was the chief Ashkenazi rabbi 400 years ago, and he became the rabbi in Krakow. So one Friday morning, not long after he had become the rabbi, the Sid comes to him and says, Rabbi, I don't have anything for Shabbos. So he comes back the next Friday, I don't have anything for Shabbos. So he gives him, he says, please tell me, what did you do before I came to town, before I was rabbi here? So he says, well, before you were rabbi, I'd come to shul and people would say, hey, uncle, how you doing? And I tell them, we're short on coal, we're freezing. Somebody would give me coal, or we don't have enough milk for the kids. Somebody would give me milk. She says, so what happened? Why aren't the people giving you anything anymore? She says, well, when you came to town and you became the rabbi, you said that we're not allowed to talk in shul, so everybody's listening to you. So the Ramo went to talk. In other words, when you go to shul, right, it's very important that you look around at least to your right and at least to your left to see how the other people are doing. Okay? You're not there to talk just to God. Because that's actually how the Kuzari ends up. That's how the Kuzari ends up his teaching to the rabbi. He says, so why, if a shul could be idolatrous, why do we tolerate having shuls? So he says, for the sake of the unity of the people. which basically means that if a shul is contributing towards the unity of the community, then you can daven there. That's already my interpretation of the Kuzari. But if it's not contributing to the unity of the people, it sounds familiar to you. But if it's not contributing to the unity of the people, right, then is it really a shul? Is God there? So, Zelo Chidush Shali, says Reb Shlomo, the following is not, did you want to say something else? No. Zelo Chidush Shali, the following is not my Chidush. Elo Pikusho Shel Rabbi Naftali Tzvi Merabshitz, this was said by the Rabshitz Al Pasuk Tehillim, there's a verse in Tehillim that says there, Katuv, Vayikanu Moshe b'machaneh Aharon Kiddush Hashem. So the simple pshat of the pasuk is Vayikanu Moshe b'machaneh. They were jealous of Moshe in the camp, and they were against Aaron, the Holy One of God. So it says the Rav Shishur as follows: Moshe Rabbeinu batzmo haya yoshev b'misrad. Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting in his office. B'machaneh. So, Korach comes Korach, V'amar lo, and says to him, Eize min manhig ata? What kind of a leader are you? Medaber im Hashem levad, b'machaneh v'lo yoredet el ha'am. You're sitting in your little cubicle and you're talking to God all by yourself. You should be out there with the people. L'Aaron hu amar, and to Aaron he would say, Lama ata mistaveh b'rechovot? Why are you walking around in the streets? Kadosh Hashem, you're a holy man. You should ata amur liot kadosh. You're supposed to be separate from the people. That's what the Rosh is interpreting that verse. As he's saying that Moshe Rabbeinu is criticizing for being off by himself, in the oil moed. He's saying, "Boy, you should be with the people." Aaron is with the people. He's saying, "No, you shouldn't be with the people. You should be up. You should be secluded in the Beis Hamikdash, right?" So what's the real point? Moshe Rabbeinu v'Aaron HaKohen hayu shutafim, right? Moshe v'Aaron v'Choyano, right? They're partners. Moshe Rabbeinu diber im Hashem v'Aaron HaKohen diber im Ha'am. Moshe Rabbeinu is the one who receives the words from God, and he transfers them to Aaron, and Aaron gives over the Torah to the people. Right? You see where we're reading, Marissa? Show her the place. Okay. So, Gewalt, like we say, Moshe v'Aaron v'Chohanav. Leizu kedusha hem higiu b'yachad. They reach such a high level of kedusha together. Ha'emet so the truth is like this. She'b'ramad lo mishichit. And when Reb Shlomo uses these words, he means to say, on the superficial level, on the non-Mashiach level, be'inayim lo mishichiyot, eyes that only see superficially. Korach hu be'emet kadosh. Superficially, Korach is like a very holy man. Hu kol kach kadosh, shekasher hu mistaveh b'rechovim ha'gabayim. He's holy, so holy that when he's walking in the streets with his attendants, hu afilu lo poteach et ha'inayim, he doesn't even open his eyes, ki hu mefached shechalila yireh mashu lo kadosh, because he's afraid that he might see something not holy. Right? And as you know, Shmirat ha'inayim, guarding our eyes, making sure that we don't look at everything that Times Square is showing us, or Hollywood, is very important. Okay? So he doesn't open his eyes, because he's afraid that he might see something not holy. But in the meantime, Kol ha'Yehudim ha'shvorim avrim al yado, all the broken-hearted Jews are passing by him, but he's not paying any attention to them. He's not noticing them because he's so busy guarding his eyes not to see anything that's unholy. Right? So, says Reb Shlomo, Du'u lachem shezohi lo kedusha amitit. That's not real kedusha. Ach, ba'olam lo mishichi, ba'olam chitzani, ze ma shenikra kedusha. But in this superficial world that we live in, this non-messianic world, this is what's called holy. Okay? Now, does it mean that you should look everywhere? No, of course not. Right? but you got to learn how to look in people's eyes. And I've shared this story with you a number of times. But anybody know the Langers from San Francisco? So when Erev Shabbos, Chaya Langer came in to help Judy for Shabbos, and she brought with her another girl, a Lubavitcher girl they were both studying in Tzfat, and this girl was like literally a stunning beauty. So I said, "Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" So she said, "No." She didn't know what I was going to ask. So I said, "What's it like to be so beautiful?" So now she said, "Why are you asking?" So I said to her, because I imagine that most men, for sure, don't notice you as a person. They don't see that you're a person. They're just taken by your looks, and they right away have other thoughts. So she says, that's true, but thank God her parents gave her a good education. She knows how to handle it, right? But bichlal, in the world that we live in, we don't look at, we seldom look at people as people. Like, think about all the people that you know, and you're all good people here, right? Most of the people that we relate with in a utilitarian way. In other words, oh, this is the person I can get my tomatoes from. This is the person that I do my banking with. This is the person that this, right? But how often do you actually relate to all these people as people? Like, who are you? What is your life like? What are you doing? What are your thoughts? What are your dreams, etc. We seldom go there, right? And because we're not looking like, you see, this guy's dressed in a blue uniform, she must be a policewoman, right? Or whatever it is. Understand? Like, we it's all superficial. And in the superficial realm, Korach looks like a very holy person. Aaron Cohen looks like a regular man in the street, right? And in our superficial way, we say, oh, this is holy, and this is not. And that's why I asked you the question before when I said visualize a holy person. And I asked you, are they dressed very differently from you? In other words, like, if that's the way it is in your mind, that to be dressed like a holy person, so then it's so different from the way you're dressed, so then why don't you dress like a holy person? Okay? Right? So because real holiness is to know how to be with somebody, to know how to say good morning in a way that person feels like, wow, somebody recognizes my neshama. Okay. Katuv b'Zohar HaKadosh, it says in the Holy Zohar, Shekorach chalak al Shabbat. The Zohar says that Korach raised an argument against Shabbat. Strange statement. אני בטוח שהוא דקדק בהלכות שבת כחוט השערה. Says Reb Shlomo, page 58. I'm sure that he was observant of the laws of Shabbos to a hair's breadth. So what does the Zohar mean that he argued against Shabbos? Elama hu chalak al kol haolam hapnimi. What he was arguing against was the inner dimension of the world. Ki v'shvilo haShabbat nirit k'mo yom rishon. Because for him, Shabbos was also superficial. You do different things, but it's a day of the week. But the reality is that Shabbos is the soul of the world. Understand? If you don't see, I don't mean to be so extreme in this statement, okay? So you can sort of round off the edges if you want, okay? But if you don't see the soul in another person, it's questionable. You should question yourself. Do you see Shabbos as the soul of the world? Right? Those of you who daven Nusach Sfarad, so Friday night after the Chodadi, before Baruch Hu, we say Kegavna de'inu mit yachadin. It's a passage from the Zohar. Rose of the Shabbos, the secret of Shabbos. What's the secret of Shabbos? The secret of Shabbos is all about unity. Reb Shlomo once put it this way: what's the difference between math during the week and math on Shabbos? During the week, 1 + 1 is equal to 2. But on Shabbos, 1 + 1 is equal to 1, maybe 3, but not 2. Understand this? Shabbos is all about unity. And so when Reb Shlomo is explaining that when he says that Korach was arguing against Shabbos, it means that he wasn't seeing the unity everywhere. He didn't see that Kedusha could be in the street, in the shul, everywhere. Okay. Now, this alone by itself is not doing complete justice to Korach. Remember, Korach, until his rebellion, was a very, very holy man. He was so holy that he knew that Shmuel is going to be his descendant, and that he was the Yetzer Hara got him via his holiness. That's a whole other discussion. Okay. So, kasher yesh lecha, in others, one of the things you really got to watch out when you're a holy person, you got to watch out that the Yetzer Hara doesn't get you to think that you're holier than somebody else, and that's not an easy one, right? Kasher yesh lecha einayim chitzoniyot, haShabbat nireit kemo yom rishon. If you have external, superficial eyes, Shabbos looks like any other day of the week. Okay, so it's Shabbos you eat cholent instead of lasagna or whatever it is, right? Kasher yesh lecha einayim enei Shabbat, but if you have Shabbos eyes, ha'olam nira legamrei acheret, the world looks altogether different. Kadosh Baruch Hu omer lanu שהשאלה היא לא האם לבחור בין אהרון לקורח. What the Torah is telling us is that the question is not whether are you going with Aaron or are you going with Korach, but rather השאלה היא האם הכל פנימי או חיצוני. Is everything, do you see life in a deeper dimension or is everything just superficial? כאשר המרגלים הגיעו לארץ ישראל הם הוציאו עליה דיבה. When the spies came to Eretz Yisrael, they spoke against Eretz Yisrael. הייתה להם אותה בעיה, they were having the same problem. היו להם עיניים חיצוניות. They were looking superficially. Right? Superficially, it really looked like there's no way that we're going to survive over here. Superficially, today it also looks like, the world is once again ganging up on us, right? Superficially, but if you see it just superficially, that's you're going to, it can freak you out. בן אדם יכול לבוא לירושלים ולראות רק את החיצוניות. A person can come to Yerushalayim and you can see the superficiality of the superficial aspects of Yerushalayim. כמה בתים, how many houses are there, כמה פחי אשפה, how many garbage cans along Agrippas or whatever, right? ומהו הכותל, and what's the kotel? אם לא בשבילו, what's the kotel המערבי בשבילו? What is the western wall for this person? אם לא עוד כמה אבנים, if not just another bunch of stones. מה כן מוצא חן בעיניו? What does impress such a person? בניינים הבנויים לתפארת, fancy buildings, מלון חדש בירושלים, עם בריכת שחייה בפנים, a new hotel with an indoor swimming pool. Those kinds of things impress the superficial people. כאשר יש לך עיניים חיצוניות, אתה לא רואה כלום. When you have superficial eyes, you don't see anything. אך אם יש לך עיניים פנימיות, but if you have deeper eyes, גוואלד, אתה רואה את הכל, you see everything. So here comes a very important point. כאשר אהרון הכהן ראה את בעל העבירה הכי גדול, Aaron הכהן would see the biggest sinner. אתם חושבים שהוא היה אומר לו כמה הוא גרוע? Do you think that Aaron הכהן would tell him, hey man, you're the worst? אלא שהבעל עבירה היה נהיה פתאום ליהודי פנימי בנוכחותו. What happened was that the sinner, where all of a sudden in the presence of Aaron הכהן, he would become like a really deep person. הפנימיות התחילה להאיר החוצה. His inner dimension started to shine outward. Okay? In other words, you see, a lot of people want to go and see a tzaddik or a tzaddikas. Why? And one of the reasons is Because when you're in the presence of a holy person, you really become aware of the fact that you have a neshama. Sometimes we live our lives in such a way that sometimes, like at the end of the day, if I think about it, and I ask myself, how much time did I actually notice today or take note that I actually have a soul? Some days it's like very, very shameful how little time we give recognition to the fact that I have a neshama. I know I fed my body. I can tell you how much cake I ate yesterday. Maybe I can't because I ate so much, but okay. But how much time did I give to my neshama, right? Okay. And so, but when you open up a sefer, when you're in the presence of a holy person, the holy person doesn't see. This is very Reb Nachman. The holy person doesn't look at your faults. The holy person sees the good in you. And when they're looking at the good in you, and when they're recognizing your neshama, then your neshama, so to speak, wakes up, like it says, "Oh wow, somebody's giving me some attention here," and your neshama begins to respond. So even if the worst person would come to Aaron the Kohen with like a big bull for a sacrifice for a sin offering, Aaron the Kohen didn't look at him and say, "Wow, you're such a mess." You're such a shagus, like you did. Yeah, nobody even knows that word, shagus, right? Like he didn't see. That's not what he saw. He looked at a yid. He saw the good in the person. He saw the neshama in the person, right? And what happened is that person all of a sudden would like mamish, like feel like so special, so holy, right? When the Chevra were actually around Reb Shlomo, everybody was so friendly and loving. Oh, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. When Shlomo was gone, there would be fights and everything. Like when the Rebbe Sheva was alive, everybody was getting along nice and sweet. Rebbe was nifter. There have been big fights. Same thing happens. Like when my parents would go out of the house, my brother and I would kill each other. Like. You fight with your sisters? No, chas v'shalom. No, okay, good. I didn't think so. Right. So it's because so when in the presence of a tzaddik, you realize like even that same guy that just 5 minutes ago outside you were having such a bitter argument with them, all of a sudden this person looks different in the presence of a tzaddik. Okay. So when people came to Aaron Kohen, their inner being felt rejuvenated with a W, right?
Yes.
And that's what started to illuminate within them, right? So, in parshat Behalotcha, אחרי שהקדוש ברוך הוא מצווה על אהרון הכהן להאיר את הנרות, after Hashem commands Aaron to light the candles in the menorah, כתוב ויעש כן אהרון, it says Aaron did as he was told. We talked about this yesterday, right? Rashi כותב שם בפירושו, and Rashi writes in his commentary, מלמד שלא שינה, that what's the Torah? Why is the Torah telling you that Aaron did as he was told? What did you think he was going to do? Something different? So Rashi explains that the Torah is praising him that he didn't make any changes over the 40 years, close to 40 years that he lived in Mamish. He wasn't bored a single day, right? He did it Mamish like fresh. So all the commentators ask, why would you even think that Aaron would make him do anything different? Everybody has answers. And I have an answer of mine too. Says Reb Shlomo, page 59. How does the world today approach a Jew who's not keeping mitzvot. Amrim lo, they say to him, Tirei achi, listen, my brother. Tachayav nishtanot, you have to change. Tistakil kama mechurar ata, look at how messed up you are. Eich ata nira, look at what you look like. Aval eich Aaron HaKohen haya nigash liyehudi, but how did Aaron HaKohen approach such a Jew? Hu haya melamed be'ofen shelo shina. He would teach the person in a way that he didn't change the person. He wasn't trying to change the seed at all. Ela shiberega sheyehudi zeh pogesh et Aaron HaKohen. But what happened was that when this seed met Aaron HaKohen, eish hayta bo'eret lo mibifnim, a fire would come alive within him. His passion for God would be aroused. He'd come back. There is somebody at the door now. Huh? Okay. You might have to use both handles. His fire, his love for God would come back alive. Okay. Who was it? My wife?
Yeah.
No.
That's yours.
Okay, so the problem of the Yid is not he himself. When do we get into our problems? Is that when we're not connected with our insides. The person doesn't have to change. Kol Yehudi hu kadosh. A Jew, by definition, is kadosh. That's why the Lubavitcher Rebbe and Reb Shlomo never called another Jew Chiloni. The name Yehudi is God's name with a dalet in it. A Jew carries God's name. A Jew is holy. Definition. Okay? If he's acting in a way that is not kadosh, it's because he's not connected with his essence. Okay? So you don't need to change the person. You need to be more inner bound. To learn how to love people is not something superficial. The question is, do you see that every person is created in the image of God? Right? In other words, is it just an idea that the Torah says God created man in his image? Or do you actually see that every person is in the image of God? Okay? And if not yet, that's what we got to work on, right? Do you see how deep people are, how truly deep people are? Do you see how deep life is? What is it that, what do you see? What do you feel? Are you pnimi or chisoni? Are you connected inward, or are you just superficial? Right? After the parshat of the spies, we were mamish broken because we were looking at Israel with superficial eyes. Kadosh Baruch Hu Amar as the Moshe Rabbeinu, so Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Ani mitzta'er, I'm sorry, and lo yachol latet lahem et Eretz Yisrael, I can't give these people Eretz Yisrael, ki hi lo b'shvil anashim chisoniyim. Eretz Yisrael is not for people who are looking at everything superficially. Ze lo shem meraglim lo hayu kedoshim. Doesn't mean to say that the meraglim weren't holy. Ela shehem lo hayu maspik pnimiyim. They didn't see enough. They didn't see the depth well enough. בתחילת פרשת קורח, הקדוש ברוך הוא מלמד אותנו להיות פנימיים. And at the beginning of Parshat Korach, the Torah is beginning to teach us, God is teaching us how to be more inward directed. Right? So this is like mamish, like such an important lesson that we're learning here. And why did we start with this lesson yesterday? Because how did it connect with the parsha? So some of you were not here, so just to explain that again, Paro says to Yocheved and to Miriam, to Shifra and Pua, he says to them that when you're helping the Jewish women give birth and you see that it's a baby boy, then they should kill the baby. And so Miriam and Yocheved are the midwives of the Jewish people. And we were explaining that in a certain sense there's also a whole concept of spiritual midwifery. In other words, like a midwife who's helping a woman give birth, spiritually, every time that you help another person move forward, move upward to a higher level of consciousness, you are basically doing the job of a midwife spiritually. Okay? And the secret is, how are you doing this? Are you encouraging the person? Are you seeing the good in the person, or are you putting the person back in the dumps by saying you're such a mess, right? Are you looking at the person superficially, or are you looking at the person in a deep way? Okay, and so the truth is, we're all meant to be best friends, and what is a friend owe a friend? Friendship. And that to be a good friend means that you help your friend make progress in life. Okay? And that doesn't mean that you agree with everything that they do. Okay? So when Hillel says, be a student of Aaron or Kohen, he loved peace and he pursued peace, and the commentators say that, and Reb Shlomo quoted that yesterday, he'd see Yankele say, and Yankele would say that, oh, he had a big fight at home with Leah, and Aaron Cohen would go and tell Leah, Yankele feels so broken, and then he'd come back and he'd tell Yankele that Leah feels so broken that they had a fight, and then they would embrace again. It sounds very simplistic. It sounds like a kindergarten teacher's manual. But what Reb Shlomo is explaining is that Aaron Cohen, in the way he related with Yankele, and the way he related when he spoke with Leah, is that he reconnected them to their inner essence. And once the person was reconnected to their inner essence, they would say, you naturally say to yourself, what a stupid thing to get into such a fight. Understand? Like, what was I thinking? Once you're connected with your inner essence, like you realize that all these things that we fight about, they can be resolved much better without a fight. Okay, they have to be resolved. There are things that need to be resolved. Okay, so it might be a good suggestion, whether you get into a fight with a friend, or whether if you're married already and you get into a fight with your spouse. I think it's a good idea that there should be an agreement that each one has the right to call time out. And there should be an agreement that if anyone calls time out, that's the law. 10 minutes timeout, or whatever amount of time it's going to be. And it could be just a signal, okay? And then during that timeout, to breathe a little bit and relax and focus on something positive in yourself, to put yourself into a positive space, and focus on something positive in the person that you were fighting with, to help them get back into a good space, and then to give blessings to that person. If you don't feel like blessing them right away, start by giving blessings to other people. And once you do that, you'll find that you're once again reconnected with your inner essence, and then you can go and resolve whatever conflict you have to resolve, which should be beneficial, I hope. Okay, Shkoyach, thanks for coming. See you tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Is this the chapter?